Yes.
Hi everyone, this is Didi.
And I am Fred. And this is our 36-foot floating home sunshine.
Join us as we go sailing.
Okay, folks, are you ready for part 2? Still Sunday morning, a little closer to noon now on Sunday, the 2nd of July. Anyway, I got up this morning, climbed out of the settee, just about sunrise, I guess, after one of my numerous nighttime naps. I don't sleep solid through the night. Sleep in 2 and 3 hour chunks. Get up and look around, make sure everything's okay. We're out here pretty much in the middle of nowhere. There's no land anywhere that we could possibly reach in even 24 hours. No shipping out here. At least I haven't seen any on the AIS. So we relax watch keeping a bit. And so we can get that uninterrupted 3 to 4 hours of sleep at least once a night if we can. So I got up this morning around sunrise and came out here, and I like to sit on the downwind side of the cockpit usually because I don't want to get splashed with salt water from the upwind side. And I happened to glance back aft. And I noticed you may have noticed in previous videos, my setup for using the autopilot to control the trim tab on the auxiliary rudder. I have to turn the motion 90 degrees. So the autopilot is a push-pull, and it pushes and pulls fore and aft. Well, it has to go through what's called a bell crank to turn that motion to a port and starboard, from a fore and aft to a port and starboard motion. And it has a cross link, just a piece of PVC pipe that goes from the bell crank over to a little tiller arm attached to the end of the trim tab shaft on the auxiliary rudder. And that's what turns the trim tab. That's why there's virtually no load on the autopilot to steer the boat. Because, I mean, I could steer that trim tab with my little finger, which in turn turns the auxiliary rudder. That's what steers the boat. So I look back there and I notice that this cross link from the bell crank over to the trim tab tiller is hanging straight down. And I'm like, that's pretty weird. Because even if it pops off the little stud, I use a 1/4-inch stainless steel bolt for a stud and just drill a hole through the PVC pipe and slip it over there. That way I can disconnect it pretty quickly and easily. Why? Even if it disconnects, there's enough friction where the pipe is attached that it will stay horizontal. For some reason it's hanging straight down. So I said, that's pretty weird. I wonder what that's all about. So cautiously, I drag myself up out of the cockpit and go aft to have a look-see. Oh, what I found was not good news. Well, I didn't belabor you with my climb back aft. Anyway, the arm, what I'm referring to, is this. Oops. Yes, what I'm referring to is a bell crank is this thing. This pushes fore and aft, and this link, when that goes fore and aft, this goes port and starboard, like that, port and starboard. you notice the end of this PVC pipe right there is broken off. And I looked at that and I went, what the hell? Then I looked down here where the auxiliary rudder is supposed to be, and lo and behold, the auxiliary rudder, the entire thing is gone, missing. And I was flabbergasted because I'm looking down there at that lower bracket. That's a piece of 10 mil thick by 3-inch wide stainless steel angle iron, and to that is welded a piece of 10 mil or 3/8 inch thick stainless steel plate. It's also got a couple bolts in it, and that plate had a hole in it that carried the lower pin. So that was the lower pintle and gudgeon for the auxiliary rudder. That 3/8 stainless steel plate, which is an American-made piece, it was actually used for the lower gudgeon on an Ericsson Cruising 36. That was to hold the rudder on an Ericsson Cruising 36. That would fracture, break. Anyway, it did, which meant that the bottom part of the auxiliary rudder no longer had support, and it tweaked the top. Now the bigger one was there had a 3/8 stainless steel bolt with a nut and a lock washer under the nut, and then a nylock on top of that nut. Both of those bolts either sheared off, which is what I suspect. I don't think they would have come loose, but because the auxiliary rudder was things back there, evidently it sheared both of those bolts. So I no longer have an auxiliary rudder. The entire thing is gone. Where? Back there floating in the ocean, somewhere behind us. Which, of course, means I got no way to steer the boat except with the main rudder, of course. And my nice little autopilot setup, turning the trim head or rudder to steer the boat, no longer has anything to work with. As anything to work with. As the control lines come down off the way. So, what to do? What to do? What to do? Well, that's a big question, folks. What do I do out here in the middle of the ocean with no self-steering device? Now, I can rig up the tiller pilot to the wheel in a very rudimentary fashion, but it's not really designed, the tiller pilot, for the load that's required on that wheel to turn it. And it will only turn it, not even one full spoke in each direction, or about 5 degrees of rotor motion in each direction, which in very calm conditions with the boat under power is enough to steer the boat okay. But in any kind of conditions like this, no way can I steer the boat. Like if we were sailing downwind, that autopilot could not steer the boat downwind in these conditions. The boat is steering itself effectively because all I've got up is the trysail. And that provides its own weather helm to hold the bow of the boat up at least as close to the wind as is practical to get the boat to sail under these conditions and maintain enough speed to be able to punch through the waves. I might be able to set the storm tip, would help a little bit. I'm not too sure I'm not sure if or not it would blow the bow off too far. We were sailing the boat with just the storm jib for quite a while, and it was okay, but I was sailing off the wind a little further. But until we get that halyard snafu straightened out up forward, I can't, well, I could set the storm jib on the staysail stay. That's the way we had it. But I'd really like to get those halyards unsnafu'd before I try sailing with the stay sailing.